Hello and welcome to the WTID podcast. This is the preview show where we get an insight into our upcoming opponents. We're 3 wins from our last 4, unbeaten in our last 3 at home, and we're looking to bring that gap down to safety to just 3 points. Standing on our way is Cardiff City, and with me to tell us all about the Bluebirds is Will from the A Bit of Swazz podcast. Will, how are you, mate? You all right?
I'm very good, mate. Looking forward to Christmas now. It's coming around the corner. Something like we're shopping, and a couple of the boys were like, "Oh, I haven't got any presents ready. Christmas around the corner." Amazon said now, look, Christmas deliveries are gone, so you can actually go into town now and actually get it looking. So, a bit of a worry, but
yeah, you need to get them sorted out. Just headed to the Cardiff club shop. I'm sure you can find a few, well, I will say bargains, but if it's anything like our club shop, there's no bargains to be had whatsoever. But yeah, Christmas around the corner, and lots of football as well, which is always good. Right, kick things off. Obviously, we've already played each other once, so we'll not talk about last season. We'll talk about this season and, coming up to the halfway stage pretty much. I'll come to your recent form a little bit later on, but, this season started pretty well. Obviously, you beat us 2-1, which we'll talk about in a second. You then went on and won 4 of your next 5, then you kind of made it 5 out of 6. But since then, it's been very up and down, hasn't it? No real consistency from Cardiff.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, started off really strong. Obviously, the return of Aaron Ramsey for Cardiff, so that'll give a massive boost. New manager, new players through the door as well. Bit of a turnaround. Some of the old players gone that needed to go went. So it was a bit of a positive mindset going through, and he brought through this winning mentality. He knew what he wanted. He knew how he wants to play, which is about counter-attacking football, which we'll get into a bit more. But he wants to go by. The players brought into the system. Players understood the roles and their bullets, which was good. But yeah, so Derby came round as well. So Cardiff Swans, we beat them at home, and we also beat Bristol City out of a derby. So we couldn't complain. Life was good as a Cardiff City fan, and then a couple of injuries happened, and it's just been inconsistent from then, basically.
What was the target at the start of the season then for Cardiff? Were you looking at kind of getting in the top 6? Were you just happy to stay in the league? What were you kind of looking for at the start?
Well, pretty much every sort of Cardiff City fan has a different expectation at the start of the season. You got the people like myself who think playoffs is all we know and all we think about. You got some obviously from the last 2 or 3 years which thinking, we just about stayed up. Be good just to stay up again this year. Be realistic. Come on mid-table. And the odd 2 thinking top 2 finish. But I get the hype when you get Ramsey back and the quality of that player, and then you get these Greek internationals into your side. You can see where he's coming from. And obviously January, which a couple of players we linked to now, and a couple of players we know from just by knowing some people that confirmed. It was gets excited again with starting about playoffs again. So be really interesting with January coming now, and if we could stay around the playoffs, why not? Can we not be in the playoffs by the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this league, obviously I know, we've been in Championship for quite a while, not for the past couple of seasons, but this season it's absolutely mental. You've got 2 teams at the top, and I suppose you could say 2 or 3 teams at the bottom, including ourselves, that are cut adrift. Other than that, the other teams in the league, it's very much of a muchness, isn't it? You can go from being 17th, 18th, couple of wins, and then before you know it, you're knocking on the door of the top 6, aren't you?
Yeah, literally, my mate, something mad. He's a Bristol City fan, and he was saying they were at the bottom at one point, and he said something like there was 6 points off relegation and then 9 points off playoffs. I was like, what? Like, I was starting by us. I was like, how far are we off the relegation zone now? Like, we thought we were like clear in a way, but we're not that far off. A couple of losses here and there, and then back down to where we were last season.
Yeah, exactly. Let's touch on the past meetings then. I mean, the last time the 2 sides met at Hillsborough was back in 2021. No fans, COVID. I think it was live on Sky as well. We ran out 5-0 winners that day. Callum Patterson, former Cardiff player, of course, with one of probably the best goals that he'll ever score with that volley from a Liam Palmer cross. Burner, Reach got 2, and Jordan Rhodes were the other goal scorers that day. Also playing for Cardiff that day, Mr. Sir William Volks was playing for you then. You don't have to go too far back for Cardiff's last win at Hillsborough, though. Just the game before that, back in 2019. Glatzel and Hoylett's goals in the first 8 minutes was enough for a 2-1 win. Tom Lee's got one back after 18, but ultimately just a consolation goal. Callum Patterson actually came off the bench for you boys that day. Obviously, little did he know that he would be putting the blue and white shirt on for Sheffield Wednesday after that. Let's touch on the last game then earlier on this season. Ended 2-1 to Cardiff. Ike Ugbo scored in the second half. Barry Bannon equalised with a wonder goal from outside the box. And then Will Vaulks had a moment of absolute madness and gave away that stupid penalty. I mean, what did you think of the game? Because, I mean, from my perspective, I thought we should have kind of gone for the win once we made it 1-1. But, then Cisco Munoz was the manager and he kind of almost played out for a 1-1 draw and got egg on his face a little bit. But you must have been delighted to get that last-minute winner, with a penalty. The easiest of goals that you could ever get, I guess.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you before the game and you were saying about how you're worried about how he's going to line up defensively, like back five you were saying back then, I think. How it's like negative football. But when you have a player like Barry Bannon in the team, you can do things like that. He's been in the Championship long enough. But we didn't deserve to. It was a good game in the end. But going into that game, we saw as a 3 points must win at home. And obviously the penalty at the end. And I think, am I right to say that you conceded the most penalties in the Championship so far this season?
Yeah, I think we've conceded 6 penalties, which is absolutely mental.
Mental, isn't it? I was trying to think about the last penalty we had, and we thought about your game, but also you had to win the derby against Swansea. But yeah, Wintle scored then. Been in and out the sides since then, really, Wintle. But yeah, we needed those 3 points, especially the start of Bullets and. But yeah,
because I think you'd not started. I know you said obviously you got off to a good start, but the initial couple of games weren't great, and that win against us kind of kick-started your season, didn't it? Really, after that, you kind of went on a little bit of a decent run.
Yeah, because we had like Leeds and Leicester City, I think, before, so it was 2 tough games to go and play, and we did well. And like I always think back to those games because we were beating Leeds at one point, company, and came back and. Leicester were in the game. We had a 1v1 chance and it could change the game. But those points against those sides back then are something I always think about. Imagine having that run going from obviously beating yourselves and then those 5 games from after that as well. So table could be a bit different. It was Ipswich as well, the other team. We were 2-0 up against away from home. We bottled that. But the table could be completely different. So Cardiff fan of those games were different. But yeah, you gave us a good nudge and started our campaign off to a fire.
Yeah, I think it was Will Vaulks would have been absolutely kicking himself. I mean, of all teams to do it against as well, your former club, I bet he took great pleasure in seeing that he handled the ball.
I've always liked Will Vaulks. Obviously, same name as me, Will, but proper Cardiff, he did well for us, and he did a lot for the community for Cardiff, for our foundation, etc. So he's much loved by the supporters, especially during COVID. He did a lot of things for the fans in COVID. Giving them like water and food, so really respected in Cardiff City.
And he carried that on and gifted you the penalty, of course.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about your manager then. You've already mentioned him, Errol Bulut. I'm not going to pretend I know much about him. Turkish, born in Germany, and that's kind of where his career has been by and large, between both Germany and Turkey. I can't name some of the Turkish teams that he's managed because I'll just make a right dog's ear of them. But like I said, I've not really heard of those either. What was it like when he was rumoured to come in? I'm guessing, like myself, you probably thought, Uzi, never heard of him.
Yeah, basically pretty much. I think our chairman and the board knew much about him through their links. When he first came in, his press conference was really exciting. Because back then we didn't know Ramsey was coming, and he mentioned there's going to be a player who could sell 20,000 seats, and we're like, who can he bring into Cardiff? We got what's it called, transfer ban. There's no way you can bring in, unless Gareth Bale comes out of retirement. There's no way someone else is doing that other than Ramsey. And then you hear rumours about Ramsey, he's going to terminate his contract, and he was like, is that the link? Then Kiefer Moore was getting shouted, and then he brought those players, and then he brought in the Greek internationals, and we're like, oh. He's going in the direction, and I was hearing rumours from the players and from in-house that they were buying into his philosophy. I was getting excited. He also came he put pre-season really early. So we had 2 weeks before anyone began the pre-season just to get to know the players. we had a good tour in Portugal. We played against Benfica and these big Portuguese sides. So I was like, right, he's got the football brain, he's got the pull, he could range fixtures against good teams. I was like, it'd be interested to see how he plays. And then more about his style then, when we start to see now, and we start to question it now, his counter-attacking football. We had a whole podcast on ours about whether we should be playing that way. I mean, that's why having Ramsey out now, we're missing that quality. When we do have the ball, can we play those killer passes? Can we control the game? Can we retain the ball, keep the ball for a bit longer instead of go on the break? But so expect like counter-attacking football, especially away from home now. Yeah, we'd like to play on the counter.
I think that's the way to play, though. I think talking to many fans of other clubs, I think they all like to play counter-attacking football. They don't really like to have the ball. I know that sounds mad when the game is to have the ball and do something with it, but most teams are quite happy to kind of soak up the pressure and then catch teams on the break. I mean, Blackburn was exactly the same, and I suppose we to a certain extent like to do that. We're quite happy to let you have it and pass it along the back four, but defend for his lives from the edge of the 18-yard box and spring a quick counter attack. It does seem that way, doesn't it? That most managers, especially modern managers, like to play that way.
Yeah, being adaptable. But we had Nathan Blake on our podcast, obviously former Cardiff City player, playing in the Premier League, etc. And he was completely he's not against a bullet in the way he plays, but he's not a big fan of counter-attacking football. He personally thinks that we should maybe press. And like you said, for example, Aston Villa beat Man City recently. You just hit fire and fire, you match them, and you get results that way. We're discussing about it's impossible to do that for 46 games in Championship. You can't do it for 90 minutes, never mind 46 games. So just find the balance between maybe a counter-attacking and pressing style, but we've tried to press occasionally against teams and had success, and obviously not success. Playing against Hull, lost 3-0 last time out, so that didn't go too well. But yeah,
is he still finding his feet, Will? Is he still trying to, does he know what his best 11 is? Does he kind of know what his best formation is, or is he still working things out? I mean, we're nearly halfway through the season, so you'd like to think he'd kind of know a little bit about what he wants.
Yeah, I think he knows his style. He's not going to change his style. I think the biggest problem we've had is the players injured. So obviously we had Ramsey injured, O'Dowda, who was our left winger / left back cover, and then Perry Ng, our right back, has been probably one of the most or best players in the Championship defensively and defending stats. And if you look at his stats after this, he's at the top. He's been coming off early. He's had blurred vision. He's had an illness, and when he's not playing, you really miss him. Plays quite inverted, so allows us to control the game a bit more and gives more space out wide to our players. It gets us up the pitch quicker. And when he doesn't play, we got a fullback who's just an old Romeo. Romeo is old-fashioned right back, I would say. Just solid, steady Eddie. You know what you expect, but he ain't going to be getting bombing forward. He ain't going to cause problems with delivery and stuff. But you could tell that when NG's not on that side, he's a massive difference.
Yeah. Let's touch on your recent form then. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It has been poor in your recent games. 4 defeats from your last 5, just the 1 win. Your defeats came against West Brom, Southampton, Birmingham and Hull, as you've just mentioned. Just the 1 win against Millwall, who were struggling. I suppose more alarming for you, I guess, is that you've conceded 7 goals and scored just 1 in that time, and all your defeats coming to 0. I mean, what have the performances been like in those games? I mean, have you deserved to be beat, or have you just been unlucky?
I think we've been off the pace, to be honest. As I mentioned, January, he spoke a lot about January, and we were speaking about it today on the pod. That is that a negative factor on the fact that the players are probably thinking, "Oh, he's probably going to replace me in January. I'm not going to try as hard," and more to do with injuries that the players that come in and play in the same ways. That, for example, if NG's injured, with a right back who could play the similar way, or when Ramsey's injured, you can't replace Ramsey, full stop. But we've lost goals through that. We've been much better from set pieces, which is a threat. I wish I would warn you about now. But the counter-attacking football hasn't really worked. We haven't got enough pace getting forwards, and we haven't looked like scoring because we haven't got the creativity.
Have the heads just dropped then? Because obviously, like I mentioned there, every time you've conceded in that recent run, you've gone on to lose the game. Can you see that the confidence just kind of dies? Because we was very much like that at the start of the season. You know, we've only picked up, QPR at the weekend was our first win from going behind, and it was only Leicester a couple of weeks before that where we'd actually picked any sort of points up from losing positions. So is that being the case? You know, that you go goal down and you think that's it, you know, that we're going to lose the game.
Pretty much, yeah. And like, especially like we've like obviously a couple of results, but we've normally lost by the one odd goal. And in midfield, for example, Siopis is probably our best player, Greek player, which I mentioned. And you can see at the end of the game, he's starting to tire, and like he's full of energy, but like it's getting to a point like we need someone to come in January to give him a bit of a rest, or we could play similar to him. And you can start to see that a couple of better performing players are looking like they could do with a rest. Even the international break before, we were crying out for the international break, and now we're crying out for the January window to hurry up, just so our players can get refreshed and we get players in to replace them. Which I think the person at the moment is the problem. He's mentioned he wants 4 to 6 players in January, so that says it all, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Is it a concern to you that you're not scoring goals recently? I mean, you won the one game, that was only 1-0, I think it was. Like I said, you haven't scored in the others. I mean, we face a similar problem, or we certainly were, until recently, that we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and it does make it difficult, doesn't it? Because, like I said, you do concede one or two goals, and you're just thinking, where are these goals going to come from?
Yeah, 100%. And especially the counter-attacking style, we're saying is quite a negative impact on attacker. If you're an attacker and you're sitting back all game and you're going to have 1 or 2 chances, you might snatch. And at the moment, it feels like we're snatching our chances and being quite predictable. All of our wingers are really like inverted. They all love to come inside. People like Bolo loves to come inside. Tanner, Grant, Maite loves to come inside. All goal scorers, but it's being predictable and knowing what we could do. And I think we're dying for like a byline crosser, so we just know what you're going to get. Like, a bit like an Aaron Lennon type of player. I know it's not the very best, but like you're just going to get a ball in the box, and we're linked to Kiefer Moore in January. I mean, we pretty much know it's a done deal. So having that quality and then having that player to actually get the ball in the box, creativity, I think that's what's lacking, and that's what we're looking for in January as well. So someone who could cause problems out wide and get the ball in the box.
Yeah, I picked out a few players to watch. Well, I picked out one to be truthful. Mark McGuinness, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
We know all about him, having had him for 6 months last season, I think it was, until you kind of recalled him in January. How's he getting? It looks like he's playing pretty much every single week since he's come back to you.
He's been unreal, and to be honest, I mentioned before, like we couldn't believe he got loaned out. I don't know if it was the club, because we had about 4 managers last season, but they didn't see what we see in him now. And when as soon as he came back, you could tell like this is his level. He deserves to be in the Championship. He consistent, and with Kutas now, the Greek international centre half next to him, some duo in defence and set pieces. We're at the top for goals from set pieces, and them 2 in the box. Kutas has been scoring more, but obviously McGuinness's presence and movement is allowing Kutas to score. And to be fair, McGuinness missed a sitter against Hull, so from a set piece. So I would say the biggest thing to worry about for us is probably set pieces, because we can score from set pieces.
Yeah, we're not great from defending them. Truth be told, we have conceded a few from set pieces in recent weeks. You've already mentioned a few other players, so I'll leave that for now. One player that we won't be seeing is Aaron Ramsey. How much have you missed him? I mean, only played 6 games before picking up a knee injury. One of those games was against us, and he pretty much bossed that midfield when we came to your place. I'm guessing the answer is going to be you miss him quite a lot.
Massively. I think we discussed this today. When we play in teams, they were showing so much respect to him. They were doubling up, tripling up, and they just allowed space for the wingers to get in behind. And even his intelligence, he knows when to pass. He knows when they get the ball, keep the ball. And Ellen Rose, first game of the season away, or second game of the season, he dropped in between the 2 centre halves, and we were like, "What's he doing?" But he knew Leeds were on a momentum swing. They had more of the ball. They're looking more dangerous. He just sat in between the centre halves, started picking the ball around the pitch. Couldn't get near him. And Ampadu, obviously Welsh international for Leeds, just try getting on him, and you're just losing him. Just getting off him all the time, bouncing off. Always thinking when the next pass was going to go, and you just started to control the game. And that quality is missed like dramatically because our link player between the striker, our 10, we play with a 4-2-3-1 with a cam. It's them being close enough to each other, them being in sync with each other. And when Ramsey's in the team, he can see those passes. He could just spray it 30 yards without even thinking about it. And that is a massive loss for us. And we can't fulfill that really at the moment with the players we've got. There's obviously some talented players like Colwell, played for Wales in the World Cup, but he's not quite the Ramsey level, and no one is really. It's impossible to place Ramsey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you must be absolutely delighted when that were linked, and I bet you're thinking like, what is happening here? Like Cardiff signing someone like him, it can't be true.
Literally, we heard rumours and we were like, oh, please be true. And I was on holiday with the boys, and it happened before we were going out, and we literally all had drinks just to celebrate. And we're all just chanting Aaron Ramsey, like we got some Aaron Ramsey baby, Aaron Ramsey, whoa. And we're on the deck, and obviously ours is actually quite funny. Ours is literally outside, but like the main stage was by there, and like they were doing some sort of like white party, so we're all in white ready to go out, singing Aaron Ramsey baby on the way out, and we're all loving it. It was probably one of the best like that holiday.
It's amazing what football does to you sometimes. It was
amazing.
Right, and before go on. Yeah, but right, before I get your thoughts on us then and kind of how you feel Saturday's game's going to pan out, I did tip you off before we started recording. I'm going to test your knowledge on players that have played for both Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday. Like I said, I think it goes back to, I think the earliest one is 2002 for Cardiff. There is a couple of players that I already mentioned that currently play for us, so they're pretty much gimmies. There's 22 players, and there is a few that have played. There's one that's played only once for yourself and twice for us. And if you get that one, then I'll be mightily impressed. So, yeah, how many players can you name then that have played for both Sheffield Wednesday and Cardiff in their careers?
Can I guess like 3 lives with my guesses, or is it
just keep going as many as you until we get a bit bored, and then we'll cut it short.
Happy days. Right, the ones you mentioned. So Patterson,
yep,
Volks,
yep,
McGuinness.
Yep.
Aidan Flint.
Yes.
Kadeem Harris.
Yes.
5. It was someone else on top of my tongue. What have I let that slip? Volks. Have I said Volks?
You said Volks. You've got Volks, Pato, McGuinness, Flint, and Harris.
Has Joe Bennett played for you?
He has, yes. 4 times he played for us, but he played 175 times for yourself.
That's 6, is it?
That's 6. You're doing better than anyone else has done so far. You're absolutely storming ahead.
This is going to be an outrageous shout. I mean, you played for us. I don't think you played more than 2 games, though. You played more than 2. Oh, did I say or no?
You can say it's fine. You don't lose any lives or anything like that.
Has Tony Watt played for you?
Tony Watt? No, he hasn't. No.
No. Okay.
There's someone that's played 111 games for Cardiff and 61 games for Sheffield Wednesday. Centre back. I'll give you a clue.
Is it Louvens?
It wasn't, but that is another one. Yes, Glenn Louvens also. Yes.
What a player.
He played 141 times for us and 100 for yourselves.
And the centre half, as you say, defender was still
another centre half. He was there 2005 to 2008, and then he signed for us 2009, 2010.
Darren Pearce.
Oh, he's got it, Darren Pearce.
Oh,
excellent.
I'm on fire.
Absolutely on fire.
Raw knowledge.
Have you got any more? Or shall I
How many have I left?
Oh, well, there's 22, and you've got 3, 6, 7, 8. You've got 9 of the 22, so it is a damn good go.
Jason Kumas.
No, he never played for Sheffield Wednesday. Right, I'll put you out your misery. I'll read the others. Jay Bothroyd, he played over 100 games for you. I mean, he was awful for us. He seems to have everyone we've played in the recent weeks. Jay Bothroyd seems to have also played for you. There was one goalkeeper, Stephen Bywater, only played 8 games for yourself.
He was the worst goalkeeper we've ever had.
Funny though.
Literally, there's only one thing about him in common. We were talking about it. Every time we mess about, I was a kid. We always pretended to miss the ball and say Bywater, because when he first played for us, he missed the ball twice in his first 3 games against the young guy. We couldn't believe what we were seeing, and we've always mocked him since. Wow.
Warren Feeney is another one. He only played once for us, and only for 14 minutes as well, but played 49 games. You got Flint, you got Harris. Roger Johnson is another one. Played over 100 games for you. Kenwyn Jones, one of our best ever loan signings. 7 goals in 7 games when he was on loan from Southampton. He played for a couple of seasons for you boys. Graham Kavanagh, the Silver Fox. He's fantastic player. Stephen McLean, another one. That absolute Wednesday legend for scoring in the final against Hartlepool in the League One. Gary Medine, absolute traitor, went to Sheffield United.
He's awful player. He missed a penalty against promoted against Wolves. Absolutely skied.
Gary Medine, the goal machine. Stephen McPhail, 186 games for Cardiff.
Tell you what, during my all-time Cardiff City team, I'm putting him in there. He's quality.
Yeah,
passing-wise, wow.
He played for us after yourself. 2013, he signed for us, only played a handful of times. Nathaniel Mendez-Lang.
How did I look at that?
Yeah, Marmite, he played for us in when we were in League One, obviously now at Derby. And this player has possibly the best name ever for a footballer. Ghislaine Ndumbu Nsungu.
I don't even know what that is.
2005. It's probably before your time. Looking, or you're probably only a couple of years old, I guess, when he was at yourselves. I'll quickly read through the ones. Seli Olifanjana, Deji Oshilaja. That's the one that's played once for Cardiff. I think he came from your youth team, if I remember rightly. We signed him on loan. Only played twice for us. I can't even find a photo of him in a Sheffield Wednesday kit. He's that rare. And then you've got Callum Patterson, Darren Pearce, Will Vaulks, and another one you didn't get is Connor Wickham, on loan for us on 3 separate occasions, and he was at you boys just a couple of years ago, last year I think it was. Only made a handful of appearances. So yeah, do you know what? A good shout there, Will. You did even better than anyone else has done it. Normally people get 2 or 3, but no, you did well. Right,
There's players there as well, like McPhail and Roger Johnson. Like I always talk about them. I just didn't think about Sheffield Wednesday.
Well,
I should have got Mendez-Lang.
Yeah, they didn't play many times for us, so we will let you off. Go on then, what's your thoughts on us then at the moment? Obviously languishing in 23rd, however, as form has kind of picked up a little bit. Obviously new gaffer, I said new, he's been here, 11, 12 games now. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on us at the moment?
Yeah, you said your home form's good, so I'm not looking forward to our game, especially the form we've been going on. But yeah, you got players who are good enough in the Championship. You're obviously at the size of your club as well. You should be in the Championship or above, be in the Premiership. But we obviously know the players like Patterson, what he could do, what Volts could do. Barry Bannon's just an all-time Championship player, and he's not our starting 11 for greats. Trying to think back to when we played, he obviously called us a lot of threats, and you've got height on your side as well, and defensively. You were saying,
we have.
I remember you saying you got like 5 centre halves on the pitch. You said at one point.
We have. We are struggling from set pieces though, but yeah, I think we, truth be told, I think we are in a little bit of a false position, especially the way that we're playing now. If I'd have said that to you 6 weeks ago, you'd probably laughed at me because we were dire, but we do seem to have turned our fortunes around a little bit. I mean, how do you see Saturday's game panning out then, Will? I mean, you're sat mid-table. I think when I gave you your little preview, I suppose psychologically you're probably thinking, we're playing a team that's in the relegation zone. We should be looking for 3 points, but when you look at the form, it's kind of flipped a little bit. But still, you've got to back yourself surely coming to Hillsborough and thinking you can at least get something out of the game.
100%, and I think, I'm not sure if this is true, but I think we've barely drawn games this season. We've either gone for the win or just lost the game. We've either won it like clear or lost it clear. We haven't settled for a draw. We've always gone to get the win, and even when we're winning, we're always looking to get the next goal. So,
yeah, I'm just looking. You've only drawn 3 games this season. Your opening game, then you've drawn 0-0 with Stoke away from home and a 1-1 draw with Watford. You're right. All the others are either a win or a defeat.
Yeah, like he's a winning mentality. He wants to win every game. So we're obviously go to a game looking for the win and hoping to win. And to be honest, we need to win now. They can't let this run go on, because we've won obviously in the last couple of games. Obviously, the performance has been awful. So those games we've won in between have just covered up the cracks. So we need to start the form going into January now. And with the players he's linked, and oh my god, he's meant to be bringing in the Greek captain. He plays for like one of the top Turkish sides, and my word, a player. And if he pulls that off, and with Kiefer Moore, and we have a bit of a form going in now, it'd be good at the end of the season. But we got to go there to thinking that 3 points, nothing else, type of thing.
Yeah, you've got to. The thing is, you talk about January, but you've got to get there first. It's 4 games between now and then.
We got Leicester, Plymouth, and QPR. So we need to get 3 points. We're not going to get 3 points against Leicester. My word, they're good at the moment. But Plymouth and the manager maybe going now, and QPR on Boxing Day. So we're terrible on Boxing Day. And I'm not sure the players do. They must have a massive drink the night before, and always awful on Boxing. And we always play QPR on Boxing Day. I think we played them 3 times in the last 5 years on Boxing Day. If you want to stat check that, this is unreal. I've been there on a way there, and I just give up because I've been there already.
I think Boxing Day, we've been away from home every season since 2016, I think it is. So we never have a home game on Boxing Day. Pretty much always a home game on New Year. And of course, in the New Year, we do play each other again, don't we? In the FA Cup. Go on then. Before I tie you down to an all-important prediction, where can we listen to you boys now? What days do you normally record? I was going to say when you're going to talk about Sheffield Wednesday's win against Cardiff, but I suppose it's Christmas coming up, so it's going to be a bit of a different schedule. But yeah, tell us where we can listen to you anyway.
So we're obviously on Spotify, we're on Apple Music. Eventually, we have a YouTube channel, but a bit of Swazz, we're on there, so obviously you hear your preview for us, what you said about yourselves and what to expect. But yeah, we're looking obviously to grow the channel in the new year, and obviously by the next season there'll be up there basically.
Where does the name come from?
So it's a good question, because originally the format was we had Nathan Blake, obviously ex-professional footballer, Jason Mohammed, so there's Match of the Day BBC presenter, was originally the main 2 hosts, and Dan Tite was doing that, and then the last couple of years me and Brandon took over, and we still get those guests on when we can. So I don't really actually know the original bit of Swazz. I think they must have came together one night and said, "What about a bit of Swazz?" And it's quite funny. We get videos off them now and again when they hear on Sky. Like I think Liverpool, Chelsea started this year. They come to a bit of Swazz and they record. He was like, "Clip it up, put on the swab, put on our podcast." I was like, "We can't use that, Nate. But we can use that."
Great stuff.
Yeah, but it's quite good. But I think eventually we'll start to do like challenges and call it a bit of Swazz challenge. So future
decent,
really good. But,
good stuff. Prediction then, Will. What's the score going to be? I'll let you. You can have one with your head and one with your heart, or just give me one. It's entirely up to you.
Both going to be wins, but my head 3-1 us, and then realistically, I say 1-0 win. I think it would be compact.
Decent.
Corner, set piece.
Will, I hope you're wrong, mate. I hope it's going to be another Sheffield Wednesday win. Look, we can leave it late if we need
Not
to.
Not a 5 again. I can't be doing that.
Well, that would be nice. We haven't thrashed anyone yet so far this season. To be honest, we never looked like thrashing anyone at all. So it comes as no surprise. But maybe this one is going to be the one. Will, massive thanks, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. Do really appreciate it. Obviously, all the best for the rest of the season. I'm glad that this is going to be the second time in the league that we'll have played each other, and you haven't got Aaron Ramsey. It might be back for the FA Cup game, but I'm not too bothered about that one. But yeah, all the best for the rest of the season. But fingers crossed, we get all the 3 points on Saturday.
Hi, Chris. All the